They say it's the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications set like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried, looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shape the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried, looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shape the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope, so you do work that matters and earn what you and your family deserve. If you are here in this Tuesday in March, I just so want to acknowledge you for being here live. Those of you, I see you there, David and Rosemary. Nice to see you both. Right, if you're here live, I just want to acknowledge you for being here. I know how valuable your time is, and the weather's getting a little nicer, hopefully, where you are. And you chose to be here. Now, look, folks, if you're watching the replay, you are also pretty cool. You're quite cool. Not quite as cool as the people who are here live, but also pretty cool. And if you are here live, I want to know where you're coming in live from. If you would, put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. Hi there, Camille, because I want to know. So where you're from, how long you've been on the job search, because we're about to get started. Because look, folks, sometimes being on a long job hunt can feel a lot like pounding sand, or it can feel like waiting on a glacier, Blair in Virginia Beach. Hi, Melissa. right? Sometimes it can feel like wandering through the desert. Rosemary in Phoenix, 5 months for you. Hi there, Michael in Orlando. I see you. Stephanie in Boston, John in Boston. Nice to have you guys. David in San Antonio, Kelly in Florida. Nice to see you all. Hi, Romania. Hi, Peruvian living in Miami, Victoria in San Diego. I see you there, Christopher in Denver, Manish in Atlanta, and Michael and Rebecca and Scott in St. Joe. Hi there, Timothy in the Windy City. Hi there, John and Magnolia, I think, right? Hi there, Frank in Phoenix. Hi, Melissa in Monroe. Hi there, Allison in Boca Raton. Sometimes this can feel like going into an arena, Gabrielle in Orlando. Sometimes it can feel like looking into an abyss. So guys, like, what are we going to take care of today? Who is this for? If you are, hey there, Angela in Michigan, 4 months for you. I see you. If you're unsure, Shar in Atlanta, Angela in Fort Wayne, about where you want your correction or your career to go. Hey there, Karen in Boston. If you're struggling to describe what you do, Carlos in San Francisco. If you're uncertain if your resume is any good, if you're wrestling with how to apply and getting no answers, Miguel in Kansas City. If you're tired of applying and hearing nothing back, right? I hear you there, Mohimad. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hey there, Carlos. Been 2 years for you. If you're doing interviews that seem to go great and you still get a big fat no. If you're trapped in a job you don't like and you're not sure how you can escape, and most of all, if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. On the other hand, if you are just kind of super casual about your career, not willing to do much work, kind of reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, really just interested in finding a job to make money, sort of stuck in your ways, closed-minded about trying new things, unwilling to be authentic, this is a workshop for you. So what you're going to learn today is how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. I'm going to offer you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can use to get hired like sooner than you have been, so you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserve. Our agenda today, some of you have signed up for this call because you've had friends or family that are like, oh my gosh, you got to talk to this guy, Eric. His program works. Like, I signed up and I got hired real damn fast. So some of you already checked me out. You've already done your spy work. You know who I am. Some of you just got a weird message on LinkedIn. You're like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I'm here. So if that's you, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, not a lot. So you know, kind of just a little bit about what the hell I'm talking about. Again, 4 strategies, 9 tactics. Guys, I do have an offer. I work with people. They pay me real American dollars to help them make real American dollars. So I'm going to tell you about my program. Some of you have signed up and you already are like, I'm joining the workshop because it's a prerequisite to doing this guy's program. So if that's you, Jessa and Cherry and Chris are helping us out today. So just put the link to book a call. Guys, the only requirements to book a call is you're not going to book a call and cancel. My team's not that big. Please don't do that. My schedule's not that big. Hey there, Melissa. Nice to see you. And you're ready to get started and you're at least open to the idea of making an investment yourself. And we'll talk about that, guys, because I know some of you are like, I just thought this was information. I don't want this guy to sell me a bunch of stuff. Fine. I'm not going to be selling you a thing today. And by the way, well, we'll talk about it. I'm not selling you anything today on this call. But anyhow, if you're interested in like finding out more about stuff, and we'll talk about this, that's the thing. And that's the link. And then we're going to have a little bit of time for Q&A if I don't take too long gabbing. So we'll see how that goes. So who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, folks, I have no idea if I can help you find a job. I've helped a lot of other people find jobs in a lot of different industries and in a lot of different levels from a lot of different places. Can I help you? I don't know, maybe. I grew up overseas. I didn't come to the States till I was like 18. I wound up transferring college 7 times, right? Don't do that. That was pretty painful. Here I am in the Midwest wondering why it's so damn cold. I wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool. I spent about 10,000 hours underwater with the fish and the octopuses and all the creatures of the sea. But after I did that for a while, my brain got a little spongy and I was like, you know what? I got to do something about my career. So I thought, what would be the most prestigious job I could have? And I thought, well, that must, hey there, Carrie in Atlantic City. I said sorry about that, Carrie. I thought that must be something like the White House. So I took out a piece of paper and I wrote the world's worst cover letter. It said, I hand wrote it. Hey, Christian, gosh, you early bird, Christian, you just booked a call. Nice job. Right. So like, I hand wrote a letter to the president. I said, dear Mr. President, you should hire me. And I mailed that. I figured I'd never hear anything back on that. But that got me thinking, right? I was wondering if I was going past the Guam post office one day and the guy came out and he's like, Eric, you got a letter from the White House. And it was on this cool White House stationery. I'd never seen anything like that. So I opened it up and it was an internship application. Now, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications. So I filled that out, sent it in. I'm like, I am never hearing back about that. And I didn't. But that got me thinking. I applied to some grad schools. I got into GW. I got into GW and was like dumpster diving for furniture, right? I flew to DC, was like, like with big bushy haircut, was like dumpster diving for furniture. Was out running past the White House one day. And I thought, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What's up with that? So I found a payphone. I put in a quarter. I called them up. I said, hey, you bastards, what about that internship thing? They're like, is this Eric from Guam? I'm like, yeah. They're like, man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You start in the First Lady's office on Monday. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I bought a suit and got a haircut and I showed up. Now, guys, I don't know if my politics match yours. This was a long time ago. This is back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss, right? Wound up interning in her office, eventually got hired on her staff, right? That was a great experience. Was with her for a lot of the Clinton administration. Followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we did stuff for the great state of New York. Followed her to the U.S. State Department, where I did stuff on behalf of the United States for UNESCO, and eventually left Hillary Land and became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. And all during this time, working with people in all different industries at all different levels, I would see the same pattern over and over again, where people were trying to figure out this job stuff at all different levels, all different industries, right? All different backgrounds. And there's nothing very linear or logical or fair about this. So about 6 years ago, I started my own coaching practice. I do a lot of talks, do a lot of coaching. I've written a bunch of books. I have an outrageous number of very impressive pieces of paper. I have glowing testimonials, and you guys don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, probably, maybe. Let's find out. So here we go, guys. 4 strategies you can use to get hired fast right now. Now, guys, as we go through this, I'm going to ask you questions, and I like to give stuff away, right? Christian G already booked a call. So Christian, we're going to give you, we've got a free course for you. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. Christian, when you come to the call that you booked, like we'll make sure we give this to you. Just make sure that you book, you mention it. But guys, here's my question. What's a good resume about? If you would, put it in the chat. Let's see if anybody gets this right. Namir booked a call. All right, Namir, we're going to take good care of you. You show up for that call. We'll give you that course, right? What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please, because I'd be curious to know if anybody gets the right answer. What's a good resume about? Let's see if anybody gets it right today, right? Some weeks we get it right and some weeks we don't. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if we hear from it. So Scott says, showcasing what you can do. Okay, Scott, let's see if we got any other takers there. Thanks for being first out of the gate, Scott. Sometimes there's a little bit of delay in the chat when I see it. Okay, so Scott says, showcasing what you can do for the employer. Okay, here we go. So Nakia says, telling a good story. Right. Angela says selling yourself. Steven says accomplishments. Rebecca says success stories. Gabrielle wants it short and simple. Namir says highlighting your achievements. John says, I hope I'm saying your name right, John. It's either John or Jan. I'm not sure. Results followed by methods. Mohammed says telling a story. Kenny says goals. Brandy says ATS. Taylor says creating interest for them. Okay. To ask some more. Okay. ATS. Okay. I see Peter says standing out. David said highlights your accomplishments, differentiation, proven track record. David said showing with performance that you can be a fit for the employer. So nobody's got the right answer yet, right? Carlos says keywords. I'm actually going to give it to, I saw one up here. I'm going to give it to. So actually now I lost it. I'm actually not seeing the right answer here, guys. Taylor Temple, I actually like your answer. Let's give this to Taylor Temple. Taylor, you were the closest, right? We're going to make sure we send you this course here, how to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. So here's what a lot of you are saying. And I see you there, Jan, right? Keywords. I see you there, Miguel. A lot of you are saying a good resume is about you. And that's incorrect. Good resume is not about you, right? You want to be influential with another person or organization. The last thing you're going to want to talk about is yourself. A good resume is not about you. A good resume is about them. Now, some of you were like, but Eric, I said it. I said what I can do for them. And that's still about you. Hey, Romina C, booked a call. Nice job, Romina. We look forward to talking to you. Way to go. Man, you guys are early birds. And guys, I only have so much room on the calendar. So if you're interested in booking a call, don't wait because slots are going to fill up. Like, I don't even think I have any time tomorrow. I think my first slot available is Thursday, maybe. So me and my team. So don't wait around and booking a call. Good resume is about them. Not about if you get nothing else out of this workshop today, please get this. This brings us to strategy number 1. Good resume is not about you, it's about them. So many job seekers are talking about themselves. Me. Right? And employers are focused on themselves. So in a job search, we don't want to focus on us. We want to focus on them. Do you see how this is a little different than some of the career advice you may have already heard and been using that doesn't work? Right? You want to make the application about them. And when I say application, I'm talking about the resume, the cover letter, the follow-up, the networking, the interview, even negotiating the offer. You're going to want to make it about them. And it's no wonder that we think a good resume is about us, because very likely the first resume we ever did was coming out of school, and in school it is about us. It's our cubby. It's our desk. It's our worksheet. It's our transcript. It's our diploma. And yet when we move to the working world, it's not about us at all. It's about the constituent, the client, the customer, the shareholder. Stephen H. booked a call. All right, Stephen, you show up for that call. We'll make sure we give you that free LinkedIn course. Nice job, Stephen. All right, get your job. And guys, and with these courses, like I see people signing up so quick. If nothing else, you get some great coaching, right? I've got good coaches. Going from school to work, it's about us. But yet when we get to work, it's about them. So this is fundamental. You do this in your job search, watch miracles unfold. All right, guys, I got another question for you. If I went to a library and I looked at a shelf full of storybooks and I looked on the front cover of those storybooks, there'd be some words. What do we call those words in English? Put it in the chat if you would, please. What do we call those words on the front cover of a storybook? What do we call those words? Let's see if anybody gets this right. What do we call the words on the front cover of a... So Tom says it's a summary. Nope, that's not right. What do we call those words on the front cover of a book? Oh, yeah, there we go. Kenny Sandridge. Okay, so I saw Kenny, and then actually, you know what? I saw a couple people at once. I saw Blair Daniels, Jonathan Galeta, and Kenny Sandridge. All three of you, we're going to send this free course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. Great job. It's a title. That's right, Nakia, and Manish, right? It's a title. Now, isn't it interesting that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace, which tells me that very much like we'll slap a label on somebody's career, just like we do slapping a label on a storybook. And it's the same thing in our careers. This brings us to the idea of stories. Let me ask you another question. What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Right? So is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? What percent is emotional and what percent is logical? What's the ratio? Let's see if anybody gets this right. Okay. Because humans like stories, and there's a reason humans like stories. So Jonathan says 80-20, right? John says 50-50. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Guys, I want to give some stuff away. Manish says 60-40. Nakia says 80%. Blair says 50-40. Nope. Timothy says 70% emotional. Nope. Frank says 80. John says 90. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer. I'll give you guys just a few more seconds. Marina says 90% emotional. Thanks for playing, but that's wrong. Love you, Marina. And that's wrong. Nope. Angela says 75. So here's the thing, guys. It's 100% emotional. Oh, Marina. There she is. All right. Yeah, so we're going to give it to Marina. We're going to give you that LinkedIn course. Marina's got it right. And I see you, Rose. You were right behind her. It's 100% emotional. And the reason we know it's 100% emotional is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged. They're fine. Hey, Gina, you booked a call. Nice job. We look forward to talking to you, Gina. Right? Like they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. And that's the debilitating part. Right? And the reason stories are so important is this is how we convey emotion. Right? It's like what Maya Angelou said, like people will remember how you make them feel. Our capacity for processing emotional information is orders of magnitude greater than logic. Human decision making is 100% emotional. When you first got on this call, you very quickly made an emotional decision about whether you liked me, the sound of my voice, whether I was full of shit, right? Now you're just collecting data to rationalize the emotional decision that you already made, and quite quickly, in fact. Right? So human decision making is 100% emotional. And the reason stories are so important is stories are how we convey emotion. So if you're not using story in your resume, and your cover letter, and your follow-up, you're really leaving a lot on the table. You don't want to do that. So for example, one time I was taking applications for a program, and Maggie, all the applications were really similar, but Maggie wrote in, this woman named Maggie, and she, hey, Dana S., you booked a call. Nice job. We look forward to talking to you, Dana. Woo, man, you guys are booking calls fast. Okay. So like Maggie wrote how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. Oh man, so we're like, well, we got to take Maggie. Scott C booked a call. Nice job, Scott. We look forward to talking to you. Way to go, man. I love this crowd, man. You guys are taking action. You guys are a crowd that's taking action. That is amazing. Okay. So remember, guys, you're not going to book a call and cancel. Don't do that. It makes me nervous, right? But yeah, show up for yourselves. So Maggie applied, and she said how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. I was like, well, that's terrible. So we accepted Maggie to the program. The first day, I'm waiting for one-armed Maggie to show up. She shows up, 2 arms. Now, it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached, and Maggie was doing some physical therapy. Was I pissed off that Maggie had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy that Maggie had both her arms. And I remember the feeling I had to this day, and that was probably 25 years ago. That's the power of stories. Our brain can process logical information like, it's like 40 to 60,000 bits a second, right? Our brain can process emotional information 40 to 60 million bits a second. It's orders of magnitude greater. So we want to leverage that. All right, guys, another question for you. Who's this guy? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho. What's this guy's name? Who knows the answer? He's a friend to ligers and llamas. What's this guy called? Who knows? Let's see if anybody knows what this guy's name is. I'll give you guys, I know everybody's struggling. What's this guy called? Some of you know. Oh, there we go. Scott Confer. Scott Confer, you were first out of the gate. You're correct. This is Napoleon Dynamite. Now, look, folks, if you're unfamiliar with this fine piece of cinema, stop your job search for a second and go watch this fine film. I mean, come on, folks. You're trying to create a society here. And I don't want to ruin the movie, right? Amanda B booked a call. Nice job, right? I don't want to ruin the movie, but here's the thing on this is, Amanda, we're going to take great care of you. Way to go booking calls, man. You guys are not messing around today. Woo! Okay. So Napoleon Dynamite's a high school kid, and he basically finds himself on stage in front of the entire student body. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, and he's on the hook to do some sort of performance for which he has not prepared. So the music starts to play, and Napoleon's and so he just does this dance. And this is the wildest damn thing you've ever seen in your life. I mean, he metaphorically opens the kimono, and when he's done, he's sort of panting and sweaty, and like the rest of his classmates are like this, and then they burst into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern-Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully. And she's right. This brings us to the idea of authenticity. So many are out there trying to be perfect, right? Let me ask you, who do humans hire? I'll tell you, it's humans. Humans hire humans. Okay? And I can hear some of you right now who are like, but Eric, what about the ATS? What about the algorithms? I was told I had to have an ATS friendly resume. Well, how's that been going? Right. And God, by the way, guys, if you have questions during this presentation, put them in the chat. I'll try and get to them, and maybe we'll have time at the end. Okay. So I want to encourage you to ask questions. Hey, Mandy, you booked a call. So happy to see your face here, Mandy. Yeah, that's right, Melissa. Melissa's got it. Right. Humans hire humans in an increasingly automated world. The opportunity to be more human, not less. And yes, there are ATS systems in every company and organization. It's different. There is no one thing. And by the way, AI is getting pretty good if you haven't noticed, right? Applicant tracking system, John, is what an ATS, is, right? So it's the software that people are like, oh, well, you got to get through that gauntlet. Nah, like let's let all our competitors chase their tails doing that with keywords and optimizing for ATS. The opportunity for us is to connect with real humans. Be more human, not less. Do you see how this is different than some of the career searching advice you may have heard? Thank you for noticing. That other stuff doesn't work. This does. That's why my clients get hired real damn fast. Okay. Right. That's just like, this is hey, Nikia, right? We're so happy to talk to you, Nikia. So happy to talk to you. Okay. So like, here's a story. One time I was working with Nina. And I said, hey, Nina, I was looking at her resume, and I was like, Nina, this is great. Like, what do you like to do for fun? And Nina sort of hemmed and hawed. I'm like, what's the evidence you're human, Nina? And she's like, well, Eric, I have a pen collection. I'm like, well, that's super effing weird. We got to put that on there. She's like, no, I could never do that. I was like, okay. Right. She went into an interview. I heard from her a month later. She went into the interview. They talked about pens for 30 minutes and then she got the job. I cannot tell you how often I work with clients and the stuff we ask them and encourage them and coach them to do in their resume makes them more human, not less, changes everything. If you've been on the job hunt for more than a month and you're having trouble getting traction, this is an opportunity for you. Be more human, not less. Authenticity is your superpower. All right, guys, let's talk about Abe Lincoln. He said, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. This brings us to the idea of systems. The results you're currently getting in your job hunt are perfectly attuned to your current systems. So if you want different results than the results you've been getting, the opportunity is to change your system. Now, some of you have a system called, oh, it's the economy. Some of you have a system called, well, I got to hide my age. Some of you have a system called, I know what I'll do. I'll put the title of the job I'm applying to at the top of my resume, and they'll see the title, and then they'll think, oh, this guy must have that title, and that'll get me an interview. What is that about? Some of you have a system called an executive summary. I don't even know what that is, right? Other than it's all about you, it has no context, and it's what you want them to see, so they're either going to skip it, or that's all they'll read, and they'll skip everything else. None of it's really good. You're going to want to have a system. And if the system you currently have hasn't been working, the opportunity is to adopt a different system. Now, look, folks, for a lot of you, this is your current system. And I got to hand it to you. I mean, you've been doing a lot with this system. You got the sticky gear shift and the horn, and you've tried every iteration of this system. Here's what you're going to want to know. This is the system that's available. Hey, Raquel booked a call. Nice job, Raquel. We look forward to diving into your job search. Here's the system that's available. Now, look, folks, you could spend a lot of time and money going from this system to this system, or you could just get some help, right? You could just get some help. You could book a call and we could get this sorted for you. Okay. So that's the opportunity. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just your system. You're going to want to choose a different system. All right, guys. So how do you put this all to work? I want to show you that it does work. A woman named Angel joined this workshop a little over a year ago. She hadn't heard from me. She booked a call. She was worried about how much my program cost. I think she got some financing. She paid like, we'll get to you, Amarnath. We'll get to you, Amarnath. She was worried about money. She's worried she could afford it, and she got financing. She paid about $300 a month, $350 a month, until she got the job, and then she paid off the balance of the fee. And here was her result. Let's show it. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job! Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days, so I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without like signing up for this program. Truly, I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Hey there, Carlo. You booked a call. Nice job to see you, Carlo. Yeah, we got you, Carlo. So, and I could watch that thing from Angel all day. And guys, she's not alone. I mean, like, I think this week we had 2 people get offers in the program, and my program's not that big. So this stuff really works. All right. Speaking of my program, again, I'm going to talk a little. Hey, Mike, you booked a call, man. Look forward to talking to all you guys who are booking calls, who are taking action, because that's what's going to make the difference. I've got a program. It's called Get Hired Fast. We deal with mindset and clarity and, like, all the things I'm going to tell you more about it later. It's awesome. It dices, it slices. It's amazing. It works really great. I'm really proud of it. And we help a lot of people get hired real damn fast. I think last year we helped about 350 people get hired. So, yeah, just like you. So if you haven't already booked a call, and a lot of you have, here's the thing, guys, if for some reason you don't see a slot that works for you, there's an email there. Just email us. And I always get a little nervous when so many people are booking calls, because I worry that the calendar is going to fill up. So Jessa and Chris and Cherry. If it fills up, just like let us know here, and we'll drop that email into the chat, because I don't want, if people are wanting a free coaching call, I don't want the schedule to keep them from having it. That's the link. All right, guys, here we go. 9 tactics. Yeah, thanks, Jessa. Perfect. Okay, 9 tactics. Here we go, guys. Okay, this is the part of the workshop where I talk like to real darn fast, because some people have me on replay on they got me on 2 times speed. It is being live recorded. You have a meeting at 12:30. Yeah, that's okay, Namir. You can watch the replay or just book a call, and then we'll just tell you about it. Okay, so let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Okay, or the other thing, Namir, is cancel your other thing, right? Unless it's a job interview, this could be more important. Just saying. Let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Okay, now they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. That's great, Namir. We look forward to seeing you, brother. Right? There's somebody in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat. Right? So metaphorically, who's the person drowning in this situation? Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if anybody gets this right. So somebody's in the middle of a lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, who's the one drowning? Let's see if anybody gets it. So Blair says me. Oh, Rosemary. So Rosemary actually got it right. Yeah, that's right, Rose. You got it right. It's the employer. And I see a lot of you are getting this right. Good. Because a lot of times for job seekers, we can feel like we're the one drowning. Nah, we're the one in the boat. We're the one extending a hand. And this brings us to the idea of mindset, right? Some of us have the mindset of I'm drowning. I have to have a job, or I'm going to die. Our brain literally doesn't know the difference between unemployment and a saber-toothed tiger coming around the corner to eat our face. And our mindset follows. So here's tactic number 1. It's mindset, right? This changes everything. Hey, Jonathan, you booked a call. Nice job. We look forward to seeing you, Jonathan, right? You're going to want to have a mindset coming from a place of service, not scarcity. This isn't about, nobody wants to be sold, right? This isn't about selling ourselves. This isn't about looking good. This isn't about impressing people. This is about service. And if you can lean into this awareness during your job hunt, it'll really make the difference. And by the way, we would never want to say, here's why I would be a good employee for you. Because as soon as we do that, we rob them of the opportunity for that to be their idea. So you definitely don't want to do that. Okay. We want to let them connect the dots. Make sense? Okay. More to come on this. Alexander B. Nice job, Alexander. You booked a call. All right. Some of you have seen the show Deadliest Catch, right? Where they put these big steel cages called crab pots on the bottom of the ocean floor trying to catch some crab. And sure enough, Charlie the crab comes along. He's like, oh, free lunch. And you would think that was Charlie's voice because he was a crab, but you would be wrong. That's just Charlie's voice. It's not that he's a crab. He's just got a funny voice. Isn't that weird? Anyhow, so Charlie comes in, starts nibbling. Meanwhile, Sally joins, and Cheryl and Bob and more and more crabs join. Now, here's the interesting part. Eventually, the bait gets eaten. Meanwhile, more and more crabs are joining because crabs like to be with other crabs. So Charlie, being the wise crab that he is, says, I'm out of here, boys. And he tries to crawl out. Now, here's the interesting part. When Charlie does that, the other crabs will try and pull him back in. Emily T booked a call. Nice job, Emily. Right? They'll pull Charlie back in. They'll even like pull off one of Charlie's legs. They'll even do a crab murder on Charlie to keep Charlie from leaving, because crabs like to be with other crabs. And of course, the sad part is everybody gets pulled up and becomes dinner. This brings us to the tactic number 2, which is environment. Environment. David H booked a call. Nice job, David. We look forward to seeing you. Right? David H, you're the man. I got you confused and Charlie the crab, David. Sorry. Right? Environment. Right? Some of you are like, oh, I'm not getting a job because of my age or the economy or the market's saturated or blah, 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 blah. I don't know the right people. Right? I don't have the right skills. Nah. It's just your system isn't working. And part of your system is the environment you're in. And when I say environment, I'm talking about your social environment, intellectual, emotional, like all of it. Physical, obviously, right? So a lot of times the opportunity, like environment eats motivation for lunch. Some of you are familiar with the idea of reference groups, right? Where the average weight, income, education of the 5 people we hang out with most. right? So you're going to want to optimize your environment for job searching. And sometimes some of us are with people who love us, family members, and they're like, just settle for $50,000 less. And right. And they say that from a place of love because they can't stand the pain that you're in because you've been getting rejected. So they're trying to help you and it's not particularly helpful. So what you're going to want to do is have a community. Sarah booked a call. She's looking for a community, right? Have a community of people that are supporting you in your job hunt, right? That are a reference group that's going to lift you up, not knock you down. It's one of the things we offer in the program I offer, right? Environment. You're going to want to optimize your environment. All right, guys, next tactic here. It's hard to hit a blurry target. This brings us to the idea of vision. Some of you are familiar with the proverb, where there is no vision, the people perish. I would say where there is no vision, the job seekers don't get hired. Sometimes I'll ask people, I'll say, hey, Gomer, how much money do you want to make? And he says, well, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000. I'm like, Gomer, that's beautiful. What do you want to do, Gomer? Well, I want to help people. I'm like, Gomer, that's beautiful. And it's really vague. Bruce Lee has this great quote. He says, be careful what you tell yourself. Your body's listening. This has to do with the reticular activating system, right? It's the system that allows us not to go crazy in a world full of stimuli. It's the system that allows us when we go to buy a new car and we drive off the lot and we're like, nobody's got this car. And then we see the car 5 times, right? Our brain will literally see what we tell it to look for. And if we're not telling it to look for something specific, it won't see a thing. It's the same thing in our job hunt. There's a reason race car drivers, when they drive 500 miles in a circle, they don't look at the outer wall, because when they do, that's where the car tends to go. So if you don't have vision, it's like you're driving 500 miles in a circle in your job hunt every month. How does that sound? Does that sound familiar? Do you see how getting this figured out could really help you in your job hunt? I hope you do. All right, guys, I got another question for you. If I went to the store and I bought this, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat, please. If I went to the store and I bought this thing, what would I be purchasing? What would I actually buy with this if I went to the store and bought this? Let's see if anybody gets it right. So I want to give away a LinkedIn course, right? So Jonathan says a drill. Okay, Tom says impact driver. Tom knows his stuff. Scott says a portable way to drill shit. That's pretty good. I like that. So Allison says drill, glue gun, right? Carlos says tool. Kenny says a cordless drill. Mike says a tool. Nope, nobody's got the answer right. Nope. What am I actually buying here, folks? Nobody's got it right yet, right? Nobody's got a solution to a problem. Oh, you guys are circling it. You're circling it. Right? I like Scott's answer, but that's wrong, right? I like your answer too, Alicia. So here's the thing. I actually don't need this sitting around my garage, as beautiful as this thing is. What I actually need are some holes. I'm actually buying some holes. Okay. I need some holes. And actually, I don't need a bunch of holes in my wall. That doesn't sound very useful. What I actually want is a place to put some hooks. And actually, I don't want a bunch of hooks coming out of my wall. There you go, Nikia. Yeah, there it is. Let's give this to Nikia. I hope I'm saying her name right. Right. So Nikia, we're going to send you that LinkedIn course, Nikia, because you got it right. Right. So I actually don't need the holes. What I actually need is a place to put the hooks. I actually don't need the hooks. That sounds dangerous. Got a bunch of hooks coming out of my wall. Gash my arm open. What I actually want is a place to hang the photo. And actually, I don't even want that. What I really want is the feeling that I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook, that's in the hole, that was made by the drill. And this brings us to the idea of giving them safety. A lot of job seekers are just focused on me. And that's disastrous. That does not work. Now, some of you are focused on them and you're talking about the drill rather than the thing that keeps them up at night when they're laying in bed working to go to sleep. Sometimes I hear from people that attend to this workshop, right? And they're like, oh, this is great. This stuff's so good. I'm going to go do this on my own. And I hear from them a couple months later. They're like, Eric, I've been trying to do all that great stuff you shared on my own. It's not working. And I'm like, show me. And a lot of times the problem is they're talking about the drill, not the thing that keeps that employer up at night. There's only one reason they're going to hire you, my friends. And it's not your skills. It's not who you know. It's not your experience. It's not even if they like you. The reason they're going to hire you is if they trust you. And the way we build trust with people, hey, Elizabeth W. See, Elizabeth W. booked a call. She's trusting this. So I hope you will too. Nice job, Elizabeth. Right? It's because they trust you. And the way we build trust with people is we make them feel seen, heard, and understood. If you can get to that, you don't have to worry about the 500 other fake applicants that are on LinkedIn that LinkedIn tells you, because you're going to be, you don't have to worry about the market. You don't have to worry about the industry, because you are going to be a data set of one, because nobody else is making them feel seen, heard, and understood like you. So that's the opportunity. How can you make them feel seen, heard, and understood? All right, guys, tactic number 6. Here we go. Let's talk about resumes. Now, look, folks, resumes are sort of the least good way we've come up with to do this stuff since like Roman times, and it's what everybody wants. So the opportunity here is to realize that you want your resume to not be like everybody else's. You want your resume to be the most Elizabeth resume possible, right? The most Nakia resume possible, the most Blair resume possible, the most Mike or Alicia or Frank resume possible, right? And you don't want it to look like all the other resumes. That's professional camouflage. Realize that a resume is just a communication piece, and it matters what you say, how you say, where you send it, to whom you send it, when you send it. It all matters. So you're going to want to do this in a way that employers can't ignore. It's one of the things we help people do in the Get Hired Fast program, right? Example, I've got hyperlinks in my resume. Do you? Right? Or do you have that executive summary at the top that people are either going to read and skip everything else, or they're going to skip that? And it's useless, right? Like lately we've been having, I had a client last year, she came up with it. She, at the bottom of her resume, Jim R. booked a call. Nice job, Jim. She put on the bottom of her resume, 2 truths and a lie. 2 truths and a lie. She got 2 interviews and 2 offers just from that. I think they brought her in for the interview just to find out what the lie was. So now I encourage all my clients to do that. I encourage you to do the same. Put 2 truths and a lie in your resume. See what happens. And there's so much more. Okay? So make your resume different. All right, guys, here's a question for you. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest it doesn't, which brings us to the idea of follow-up. Some of you apply for the job and you're like, well, hope I hear back on that one. And you get that weird accent. It's very strange. Others of you, right, apply and then you're like, I'd like to follow up, Eric, and damn it, they don't put the person's contact info on there. Or maybe you're doing this. Maybe you're dutifully following up with recruiters because they're not professionally trained ninjas to keep you separate from the hiring managers or anything. So you don't want to do any of that, right? You want to follow up from a place of service, making it about them, and you want to find the hiring managers. Now, some of you are like, but Eric, I don't have their contact info. I got you, friends. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Go to so I got a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. It's awesome, right? Here it is, right? Here's how you get, I'm going to give it to all of you. Here's what you do to get this course. You're going to go to my LinkedIn. We're going to drop that link in the chat right now. Thank you, Jessa. Right? Go to my LinkedIn. You're going to friend or follow me or whatever, right? Friend or follow me. And then you're going to send me a single word. It's a code word. It's a secret word. And that word is chicken. Okay, so you're going to go to my LinkedIn, friend me, follow me. You're going to email me through LinkedIn. You're going to send me a message through LinkedIn with the single word chicken. And if you do that, I'll send you this course, How to Contact Anybody, and then it won't be a problem anymore, right? Because people are going to believe what you show them rather than you tell them. So you're going to want to show them that you're somebody that's not messing around. All right, guys, let's go to tactic number 7 here, right? This is a big one, networking. Right? Networking. You ever see the Academy Awards where some movie star gets up there and she wins a big prize? She's like, well, I got nobody to thank. And it's sort of awkward. And they're waiting for, no, she gets up there and she's like, I got to thank this person and this person. And then they're trying to drag her off stage. When we ask people for help, it makes us look strong, not weak, because asking somebody for help is a gift, because they can know that we wouldn't be asking for their help unless we were certain their help was worth asking for. This is one of the biggest things that people do when they join my program. We show them systems for asking people for help, not just the people they think they can help them, but all the people, all the human earthlings they know. So what you're going to want to do here, guys, is filter the ocean of people you know. Larry N. booked a call. I look forward to seeing you, Larry. Good job. Okay. All right, guys. I want to make sure we have time for Q&A. So I don't want to rush through these because this is probably, there's no more thing more important than this. When people join my program and we show them how to network, they get real results real damn fast. Guys, let's talk about interviews. 2 important things when it comes to interviews. I'm just going to say it, Jessa and Chris. We're going to go right to it. 2 important things. 1, don't answer their questions. Actually, there's just one important thing. Best interview advice in the world right there. Don't answer their questions because they're really only asking you one question. And that question is this: can I trust you? Right? If we were in that Ricky Gervais movie, like The Invention of Lying, we could sit down for an interview and be like, hey, nice to meet you. Can we trust you? Nah, you can't trust me. All right, well, we're not going to hire you. That sounds great. We're going to say we're going to be in touch when we won't. Sounds perfect. See ya. That'd be pretty funny, but we don't live in that world, right? So what we do instead is we ask questions about, tell me about a time you took a risk, or tell me about yourself, right? And they're really only asking one question. So rather than attempt to answer their questions. What you're going to want to do instead is give answers and tell stories that build trust. You do that. And some of you have been to like those final round interviews. A lot of times people find their program to me like that, right? They find they find their way to me and they're like, Eric, I keep getting to the interviews and I keep getting to know. Well, there's only one reason: they don't trust you. And it's not personal. They just trust somebody more. They don't trust you enough. That's all. You didn't make them feel seen, heard, and understood enough. That's it. So you're just going to want to have some systems for doing that. All right, guys, final tactic. Here we go. Offers. 2 important things when it comes to offers. Hey, Kathy L., you booked a call. Look forward to seeing you, my friend. Okay. 2 things when it comes to offers. 1, when we look at job boards, we don't have to worry if we're qualified. They'll have an opinion. And very likely, if we think we're qualified, we're not. And if we don't think we are, we are. So you might as well not worry about it. 2, you don't have to worry if you want a job. You don't have to worry about the salary they're offering or where it's located. You don't have to worry about any of that unless and until it's offered. Because it's at that point that you can say, oh, you want me to work for $1 a year in Siberia? How can I do that? And now it becomes a co-creation where it's not you versus them. It's you and them versus getting you in the job. Realize that just because you apply to a job doesn't mean that you're going to accept the offer if they make it to you. So you can really free yourself from worrying about this stuff. You don't have to worry if you're qualified. You don't have to worry if you even want it. My encouragement for you, instead, when you look at job listings, instead of thinking, am I qualified? Do I want this? Look for possibility. You do that. Watch miracles unfold in your job search. You guys are such a great crowd. So many of you have booked calls. My God. Okay. A lot of you are going to get hired fast. So write this down, guys. 4 strategies and 9 tactics. This is how you get hired fast. This is it right here. Some of you may be thinking, oh, gee, this is different than stuff I've heard before, because other people are telling me to hide my age, right? They're telling me maybe that I can borrow their network. Nah, that's not going to work because it's not your network. That doesn't work at all. Don't do that. Some of you are hearing, well, I'm not getting offers because it's my LinkedIn isn't optimized or ATS. Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that, right? Instead, focus on this stuff. Focus on being human, connecting, being authentic, being assertive, coming from a place of service. You do that, you'll get hired. This stuff is not Googleable, friends. I don't know of any program on the market that's like mine, because my stuff I created on my own. I'm not stealing much of it from anybody. A lot of you are thinking, well, I'm just going to wait, or I can't afford it. I can't afford to get help right now. Here's just what I want to show you. If this is the annual salary, right? Job hunting is expensive. There's an opportunity cost. This is how much it's costing you per month. That's how much it's costing you per week. Guys, if we can get you hired a couple weeks sooner, you more than pay for this program. And not only that, but we're going to get you a better offer. There's 1,000 ways we're going to help you with. My encouragement for you, if what you've been doing hasn't been working, as Einstein said, don't do the definition of insanity. Do something different to get different results than the results you've been getting. And you could spend a lot of time and money doing it on your own, or you could just get some help. Here's one way to get some help. I've got a program. It's called Get Hired Fast, right? Has a lot of one-on-one coaching with me, has group stuff every day of the week. There's a course. You think this workshop's good? We're just scratching the surface here, folks. I'm barely getting through all the content we've got. And there's so much more that you don't even know about, right? There's an online community. So you're with fellow job seekers, right? And Carlos, hopefully our sound comes back. Hopefully that's just your sound. Hopefully other people can hear us okay, right? So how much is the program, John? Well, I'm going to get to that here in a second. All right. So we do everything. We talked about your LinkedIn. We talked about finding opportunities, your mindset, resumes and cover letters and follow-up and networking and interviews and negotiating the offer. We handle everything, right? Because a lot of times thanks, Timothy. I appreciate that, right? A lot of times job seeking isn't really about the job. It's other stuff that's going on. A lot of times it's up here. I have imposter syndrome. My last boss was mean to me. We help you with all that stuff. Okay. Here are some of the people we've helped. Guys, I'm sensitive to time here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but all different levels, CEOs, nonprofit executives, all different industries, tech and education and healthcare, all kinds of people we've helped, all different sorts of people, right? You met Angel. People don't make data-driven decisions. And if you insist, here's some data. A lot of times people in this program get hired in 3 months or less. And the guarantee we offer is that if you don't get hired in 3 months or less, we stay with you until you do, so long as you're doing the work and you're showing up. We stay with you, which means, you're getting access to me, you're getting access to the group. It's amazing. You don't want to keep being like a hamster on the hamster wheel, doing the same thing, getting the same results you've been getting. You don't want to do that. So guys, multiple payment plans available, right? It was, John was asking how much the program is. Guys, a lot of times, if, we have a lot of different payment plans that, knock it down to like $300 or $400 a month, right? Or you can get financing. A lot of times people will, pay us $300 or $400 work for the 3 or 4 months it takes them to get hired. And then once they get a paycheck, they pay off the rest, right? Remember, being on a job hunt is really expensive. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to pay real American dollars for the opportunity for somebody to pay me dollars. I mean, guys, it's just a negative spiral. So my invitation to you, the reason I invest in my coach and I pay her so much money, it makes me want to throw up, is I get results. You can too, right? Only 3 requirements to booking a call with us. 1, you're not going to book a call and show up. Please don't do that. Professionals don't do that, right? Take a stand for yourself, right? Unless somebody is sick or worse, keep the call, or you have a job interview, right? You're at least open to the idea of investing in yourself, even if it feels scary. I'll tell you what's a lot more scary is continue to do what you've been doing that isn't working, and you're ready to get hired now, right? If you want to get hired 6 months from now, talk to us in 6 months, because we don't want to get you a bunch of job offers now unless you're ready. So, and if nothing else, you get some great coaching, right? You get some great coaching. And I'm thinking our slots may be booked up. So if you're having trouble finding a slot, email us. But here's the, thanks, Jessica. Good job, right? Here's the form to book a call, get hired fast. It's awesome. I hope to get a chance to meet a lot of you guys. I did a great job getting through that, guys. I went through that super fast. Tom H booked a call. Good job, Tom. So who's got questions? Who's got a question that they would like to ask? Put it in the chat. Love this crowd. I'd be happy to answer any questions about your particular situation or anything. All right. So Amarnath and Jessa and Chris and Cherry, I know we haven't seen a lot of questions. So if you run out of questions, that's okay. Don't fret. I know you guys are probably scrambling for questions. How do you get a resume past the ATS? Well, I don't know, and neither do you. Therefore, the opportunity, Scott, you know what? Book a call, Scott, and we'll talk to you, because it depends on whether we think we can help you, right? Before we even want to make you an offer. So book a call. Blair, same with you. Book a call. And it depends. We have all sorts of different payment plans. The longer you pay, the more the course is. So it depends. That's why I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm just like, it depends. Great. All right, Manish, I see your question. So like, Amarnath. Okay. I don't know how to get past the ATS. Nobody does, because there's not just one ATS. So to try and get past it is kind of a fool's errand. So stop worrying about that. Apply, let the ATS stuff fall where it may, and circumvent all that stuff and find a live human, the hiring manager behind the scenes that's desperate to get help, who's probably banging on the back door of HR trying to get some help, right? So that's what you want to do, right? I cannot tell you. By the way, those of you who've been paying attention to those flimsy little rejection notes you get, stop doing that. If you get a rejection, just ignore it. I can't tell you how often people actually, let's play it right now, guys. I'm going to play. I got it, Jessa and Chris. And here's somebody who did just that. This is a guy named Andrew. He basically ignored a rejection, and his was the result he got. Here you go. Sorry about that.
I got a job offer thanks to Win at Work. I really appreciate all the help and materials and one-on-one coaching. I applied cold to an organization I was interested in and received the automated response, "We're pursuing other candidates." And then there was another posting for the same role or similar role in the same organization. And this time I really used a lot of the Win at Work process. I also really appreciate the coaching I received on interview prep from my coach, Patrick, and the Win at Work materials on interview prep. I feel like I really impressed the HR recruiter. She scheduled me for another interview with program directors a couple days later. They were also really impressed and said I had a lot of good answers, and I really just did what I learned in this program. Make it about them, talk about them, be authentic, and now I have my new job offer.
So guys, you see what happened there? He got a rejection and he ignored it. You can too. Yeah, you can too. All right, I see a couple more great questions here, guys. Bring it on. Okay, how big an issue constraint is ageism? Yeah, so Manish, just so you know, a lot of isms: racism, sexism, ageism, ableism, plenty of isms. Nothing's fair about this, not suggesting that it is. And I would humbly suggest that any ism basically comes down from people having lack of trust. And it could be for a lot of stupid systemic reasons, right? Not going to pretend those don't exist. So the opportunity, even if there is isms, like for instance, with age, the last thing you're going to want to do is remove your graduation dates, because that's basically you saying, hey, I want you to trust me, but I don't trust you not to be ageist. It's literally the most trust destroying thing you could do. Or how about well, I'm not going to put anything older than 15 years. What is that about? Like, remember, it's never the scandal. It's always the cover up. And again, this is contrary to a lot of not helpful advice that's out there. So if you're wanting to get hired, like, ignore that stuff. Come talk to us. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. So Taylor says, in interviews, how do you get past the initial generic question? Star technique. So in interviews, we want to make them feel seen, heard, and understood. So let's pretend, Taylor, you just asked me a question. Yeah, of course we help with career pivots. Obviously. Yeah, of course we do, Tom. Yeah, of course we do. Thanks for asking that. So Taylor, if I was in an interview with you and you asked this question, I'd be like, well, Taylor, one thing that really stands out is we're 55 minutes past the hour and you're still here at this workshop. What that suggests is you're somebody who takes your career seriously. You're somebody who's not messing around. And that's really inspiring. When it comes to answering questions in an interview, what is most likely is if you make those people feel seen, heard, and understood, you're not going to have to worry so much about generic questions, because if in an interview, Taylor, if you make it about them, they're not even going to remember the original question that they asked. Now, did you notice I did not say the word I or me one time? And you probably forgot the original question that Taylor asked. That's how you get through in an interview. And again, there's more of an art to that. But that's what I would say, Taylor. Great question. All right, guys, I got just time for a few more questions. And guys, when we're done, and Chris and Jessa and Jelly, thank you, or Cherry rather, thank you for doing such a good job helping me out. They're going to play when we're done here. They're going to play just a bunch more testimonials. Guys, and if you haven't booked a call, like, what the actual F are you waiting for? Like, book a call. Okay. Scott Confer. How do you specialize in helping those in tech fields or design market that has suffered so many layoffs? So, Scott, I'm a believer in the idea that job seeking is a microeconomic endeavor. It's not a macroeconomic endeavor. You don't have to worry about those layoffs. You don't have to worry about the economy. You don't have to worry about the job numbers, because you're just one person. Me too. All we want to focus on is that one employer out there that's drowning, that's suffering. They're desperate to have a Scott. That's all we have to worry about. We don't have to worry about the economy. Let's let all the other job seekers worry about the economy. We don't have to. If we take all the time and energy, we're worried about the economy and the industry and the layoffs, and we devote that towards making the employer in front of us feeling seen, heard, and understood, it's not going to be a problem. All right, next question. Good question, Scott. I think you booked a call. Look forward to talking to you. Carlos, I think Carlos booked a call too. The way the current job, again, that pesky job market is working has been broken for a couple of years. How are people being hired at the meta level? I think I just answered this, Carlos, right? I'm gonna dispute the premise of your question. You don't have to worry about the job market. I mean, guys, these guys are doing us a favor. Look how worried people are about the job market. You don't have to. Take all that worry and focus on service and watch miracles unfold. All right, what else we got here? Shar Walker. You have a great name, Shar. That's a cool name. How much weight should we put into the job description? Good question. So did you ever hear the story of the coder who he saw a job description and it said, we want somebody that's got 5 years in this program language. And he sort of laughed to himself because he was the one that had written and invented the language only 2 years prior. Don't worry so much about the job description. Employers just put words, and HR people don't even understand the words that they're putting on there because they're not the subject matter, right? They put words on there. They don't even know what they want. You ever get to a job interview and what they ask about has nothing to do with the job description? So you don't have to worry about it. Don't worry so much about it if you're qualified. Look for possibility, apply from a place of service, make them feel seen, heard, and understood. That's how you get hired fast. Guys, you guys have been a fantastic crowd. I really acknowledge you for being here. If you've been on the job hunt for more than a month or two and you can feel that you're losing money because of the opportunity cost of not getting a paycheck, and you're wanting to do something different than you've been doing to get different results than the results you've been getting. If you're tired of doing this alone, book a call with us. Come talk to us. We're not going to bite. If we think we can help you, we'll take a stand for that. And if not, we'll take a stand for that too. Yeah. And if for some reason our calendar's full, there's an email address there, guys. I really acknowledge you for being here. There are bright things on the horizon for you. And I just really appreciate all of you. So team, if you would, I'm going to hit the first testimonial here and I'll ask you to take it from there. And if you've been on this workshop, I really hope to see you soon. Take care, my friends.
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I'd like to hear those stories from others because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth, getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
Well, first, will you tell us your name?
Jeff Borker. I just want to thank all of you guys. I didn't know how fast this was going to work. And you guys have all been great. I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten from you and from Eric and from Diana and the group as a whole is very supportive, very, very uplifting. Everyone's willing to help out. And it's just been a great experience. It's something that I won't forget. It's something that I'm going to take a lot of these concepts into my work activity. The job that I'm going into really is a dream job for me. I was just like, this is something I have to do because 2.5 years of doing the same thing, again, nothing was working. I was getting rejections, I was getting ghosted, but I would say put any predispositions away, go into it with an open mind, do the webinar, do the introductory call, and really just do it because it works.
Pitch.
I signed up with Eric probably around Thanksgiving. Just getting started before I landed a position.
New Year's Eve, Rich. New Year's Eve.
It was New Year's Eve. So it happened really fast. The last newsletter was spot on, where it's like, okay, everybody starts with dusting up their resume and their LinkedIn, but it's really about mindset.
That's right, baby. That's right.
So I'm very, very eager and excited to get back with you and
all right, man.
Get that going because it made all the difference in the world last time.
Hi, I am Marcia Gomes. I am, I guess you could say, a recent graduate of Get Hired Fast because I did get hired and pretty fast. I am currently in my second week at my new position after having gone through the Get Hired Fast Win at Work programming and methodology. And I don't think it's exaggeration and hyperbole to say that this program absolutely was the kicker in getting me to where I am right now. So very thankful, very learned a lot and a lot of shifting in perspective. And I think that was super instrumental in kind of changing the way I approached my job search and my job hunt and eventually getting to where I am and landing this really cool position that I'm in now. Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is going back in my memory. I would say I was probably searching for 2.5, 3 months before I came across Win at Work. I saw Eric. I had probably sent 20 resumes and I had 2 different sets of interviews and never got any further. All I kept hearing was it is very competitive. It's so much different. And I just thought, you know what? Why am I doing this on my own? I need to find an expert to help me. I was in the midst of looking when I came across one of Eric's ads. It was an invitation to join a webinar. And so I did. He was great at building up and telling you what you needed to do and draw you in. I will say right off the gate, it was a completely different approach to job searching. Applying for jobs just isn't a fun thing. And it's easy to get burned out and it's easy to start thinking negatively and you just don't want to do it anymore. But you guys were always there, kept encouraging us to keep doing it. And so I did. So having that support to urge me to keep going was one. Number 2, the completely different format for the resume was amazing. It was like nothing that I had ever seen before. I have received a number of comments. I felt much more confident sending out that polished cover letter and that polished resume. How long does it typically take for someone in the Win at Work program to get a job? And he gave percentages, and I don't remember what they were, but X amount in the first 6 weeks. And then I think it was a larger percentage in the first 3 months. And I'm like, okay, that's what I need to aim for, is those first 3 months. And I wasn't too far. I may have been a week or two past that, but what he said was true. So that's exciting. And I feel like I got the best of everything I was looking for.
It's Bethany Meadows. I joined Win at Work in June 30th. I'm currently working a position as a CRM project manager at a college in Miami, Florida. All the different components of the program, the network bomb, the power hours, the co-working sessions, the job coaching, put together a really good strategy and it helped me give me an approach to be able to do job search that was more holistic in terms of being able to not only think about applying for a job or whether or not I was qualified for it, but also to thinking about my attitude about the job search itself. And so that's something that really was important for me coming out of being unemployed for a year and being laid off from a job that I've been at for about 9 years. So I had a long stretch of unemployment, did other job search programs before, some paid, some unpaid. And I found that with Win at Work, there was just a large part of it was the mentality and just changing my thinking around how I approach a job search.
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, get hired fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I said, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 5/29 on 8/11. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.